Thank you. Good afternoon. Please sit down. Secretary Albert Del Rosario, Excellencies of the Diplomatic Corps, Chairperson Maria Gracia Pulido-Tan of the Commission on Audit, Secretary Florencio Abad of our Department of Budget and Management, Secretary Cesar Purisimo, Department of Finance, Dr. Kun Yang, ASOSAI Secretary General, Chairman, Board of Audit and Inspection, South Korea, Mr. Seishi Tashiro, Senior Assistant Secretary General, and Mr. Magnus Borge, Mr. Francisco Tantuicos Jr., Attorney Bayani Tan, delegates to the 46th Asian Organization of Supreme Audit Institutions, fellow workers in government, honored guests, minamahal ko pong kababayan, magandang hapon po sa inyo lahat. First of all, let me apologize for keeping you all waiting. It's been quite a busy day, and I had to make sure my figures were correct. Since you're all auditors, I don't want to be audited by any of you. I'm always happy to welcome visitors to the Philippines, and I must say I am especially pleased to be meeting with you today, not only because visitors from South Korea, Japan, Norway, Bangladesh, Russia, and many of our neighbors from the regional community can see for themselves how it is more fun in the Philippines, but more importantly, because your organization symbolizes the solidarity of government agencies from over 45 countries in fostering accountability and transparency. This is also what our administration has sought to do, making integrity and good governance the norm rather than the exception. Has been one of our priority agendas because we have seen what the opposite, impunity and the abuse of public office, can do to our country. Before we took office, the Filipino people saw how rampant corruption laid waste to our national coffers, how public funds were used to inflate the bank accounts of a few instead of being spent in programs and projects that would truly help our people. This is why from the very beginning, we were determined to reverse the alarming trend of both impunity and corruption. This is why we are committed to fighting corruption throughout our term in office, because we know corruption hampers the ability of a government to serve its people. Among the cornerstones of my governance philosophy is the efficient allocation of resources. This has informed our fiscal policies. For example, the method of zero-based budgeting has been utilized in the past years to take funds away from programs and projects that are inefficient, ineffective, fraught with leakages, and just plainly wrong, and then to channel these funds, thus saved, into programs that do indeed work. Every single project is now also scrutinized carefully and put through the proper bidding and procurement processes so that we can get the right project built by the right people for the right quality and the right price, finished right on time. This is the mantra we call our 5 R's, our guide for all our projects. Initiatives such as the Budget ng Bayan website or the People's Budget website and the full disclosure policy for local government units also seek to provide taxpayers with access to information on government's finances and other transactions. I am sure that you, as members of the Asian Organization of Supreme Audit Institutions, understand just how important this kind of transparency is. Excuse me. Every single peso, every yen, ringgit, or baht must be accounted for as we are spending this money on behalf of our people. And since we are all in public service, each and every expenditure must have a corresponding value, a value that redounds to the benefit of our peoples. Allow me to give you an instance when our Commission on Audit helped us to correct a nefarious wrong early on in our term. We have an agency called the Metropolitan Waterworks and Sewerage System, or MWSS, a government-owned and controlled corporation, whose Board of Trustees members thought it was their mandate to give themselves a whole slew of bonuses and extra allowances. For instance, grocery incentives, bonuses just to attend meetings, mid-year bonuses, productivity bonuses, anniversary bonuses, year-end bonuses, financial assistance, Christmas bonuses, and even an additional Christmas package on top of the Christmas bonus. All of these amounted to over 2.5 million pesos for each board member annually. Imagine the goal of these people to mismanage funds and use their positions to enrich themselves, even as the institution they ran continued to bleed resources, and even as the pensions of the retirees remained unpaid. The discovery of this anomaly allowed us to make important changes in the way that these corporations were run, which culminated in legislation to ensure that our GOCCs, or government-owned and controlled corporations, would be governed with the same integrity, accountability, and transparency expected of all other government agencies. This is the only way that our COA has helped us, this is only one way rather, that our COA has helped us to guard against corruption. One example that perhaps resonates with your own experiences. May we further illustrate? In the MWSS in 2010 had a net loss of 34 million pesos. We assumed office on June 30 of 2010. By 2011, their net operating profit was already at 333 million pesos from a deficit of 34 million pesos. It is projected, subject to the confirmation by COA, that by 2012, or last year's report, their profits will top 1 billion pesos. Over the next few days, you will have ample opportunity to talk about both your success stories and the challenges you have encountered. With representatives from a wide variety of countries, there will certainly be much to learn, as there has been in the ASOSAI's previous activities, such as your research projects and the workshop on dealing with fraud and corruption, which was also held in the Philippines, I understand, last November. Above all, your organization has always been united in the desire to foster integrity in governance. Here in the Philippines, as already mentioned by our COA chair, we call this the Daang Matuwid, or the straight path. This embodies our belief that doing the right thing will allow us to uplift our countrymen. It is the quickest, in fact, the only way to reach the progress, inclusive growth, and stability we aspire to for our country. This path is one we cannot tread alone. For the nation to move forward as a whole, everyone must do their part, from those of us in government to the private sector. I must admit, our call, and consequently, we are fortunate that so many others continue to come together under an atmosphere of cooperation to help each other's countries move forward. After all, no matter what country we are from, no matter what position we occupy, we are all called upon to serve with integrity and to perform our duties to the best of our abilities. So it is our hope that you will take full advantage of your meetings, that you will be generous in sharing the lessons and best practices you have discovered in the course of your work. In this way, you can return to your jobs armed with new knowledge and ideas, reinvigorated to take up your task once more towards improving the institutions you lead. Thank you. May you have a productive meeting, and may I bid each and everyone a good day.